Hi, host Eric here talking with famous people. Debate is the most important thing in the world because we all do it all the time, but most of the time we think either we're not doing it or we think that it's somehow prioritizing the wrong thing. We should be prioritizing people's feelings or something like that. But, we need to understand that we're debating things all the time and that we're debating them in different frames. And that if we just get that down, like, well, in this frame, these kind of arguments work, in this frame, these kind of arguments work, this frame, these kind of arguments work, and why, then we have a pretty good understanding of why things happen the way they do and how to make meaningful impacts upon those systems to promote justice. I'm a big justice warrior, right? I really hate injustice. I hate the notion of some bully individual bullying some other bully individual under color of law, especially. And I'm also a big believer in our citizen democracy of America. My father's very patriotic, and he's a big believer in the limits of the Constitution on government as being the liberating factor in American history. So for me, I went away from that belief for quite a long time, and then I eventually came back to it over time. The reason I came back to the belief I came to was not for any reason other than this. I went through all the argument chains of the debate coach. I've argued all the different positions on all sorts of policy points. I've argued countless resolutions. It's like football, right? You have to come up with a game plan for every resolution for your kids. They're not calling their own plays. They have to call their own plays in the round, obviously, but they're not coming up with their own strategies. So I got to strategize on all those things. I know how all the arguments work as a consequence, and I know which ones win and which ones lose. And I know why. I know where they break down. And it's always the same point. It's either arbitrary or it's not. When it comes to policy issues, it's either arbitrary or it's not. You either have a limiting principle that you're referring back to or you don't. And if you do have a limiting principle, what is it? And if it's not the one that I'm talking about, unless it's something new and better that I haven't heard yet, it's going to fall. And I've spent over a decade figuring this out. That's why. I understand the truth now, and it comes from argumentation. I understand why bad shit happens. Whenever something stupid happens, it happens for one reason and one reason only. The argument doesn't go on long enough. As long as we're still arguing about it, it's not happening. And eventually the right arguments will win. That's why gay marriage is okay. That's why marijuana is legalized. It's because you just can't sustain those bad arguments if they're actively being argued in the public discourse. If we have a political process that discourages actual discourse, like we do in America, where presidential debates are just these exchanges of sound bites, then there's no possible way. If we see politics as being person-driven rather than process-driven, there's no way we will ever solve any problems. It would just get worse and worse. We just have more and more bullshit pile up because, well, that bullshit didn't work. Let's throw some more bullshit at it. You never let's clean up the old bullshit. Let's always just add more bullshit. So that's why I'm a debate coach, because I don't like bullshit, and I think everyone should be free. Everybody should have a just and equal and equity of opportunity. Everybody should be treated equally under the law, and we should all respect and be kind to one another in general, right? And that means understanding what we're saying. It means that if you say, oh yeah, we should have a seatbelt law, you're saying we should give the cops more reason to pull over black people and shoot them in the face. It's like that. It matters. That's it. Thanks for watching. All right, next one.